All right, I'm going to call to order the February 1st, 2024 Norton Select Board meeting. We will do a roll call to just see who's here. So Denise Luciano, are you here?
Yep.
There you are. And Megan Arts, are you here?
Yeah.
Alec Rich?
Yes, sir.
And I think Steve will be joining us in a little bit, but just to be sure, Steve, are you here? Okay, so I think Steve's going to be joining us in a little while. And obviously I am here, and the town manager, Michael Eunice, is here. And just want to thank all of the members for being here tonight and all of our guests for being here tonight. We decided to do this remote because we had a number of folks on the board that could not do an in-person meeting tonight and have a quorum. So we decided to do it on fully remote. So we'll start off with the appointments. So Mr. Town Manager, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay. So we have tonight an appointment of a full-time sewer technician, Tyler Richardson. And I know Tyler is on, and John Harrop from the Water and Sewer Department is on. He can talk a little bit about Tyler.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tyler, we're really excited to have him on board. He actually did something that very few applicants do, and he got a water distribution license on his own dime with his own time and passed, which is not the easiest thing in the world to do. And it showed us a lot of initiative, and it's a license that is required to not to get hired, but to get once you're with the department. So we felt it was an excellent step in the right direction, and we actually just had our lead sewer technician retire a few months back, and so he's been replaced with a new lead sewer tech, and now we needed someone to work under him, so we're excited to have Tyler on board.
All right, great. Does anybody from the board have any questions for John or for Tyler?
I do not.
I do not. Doesn't look like anybody else has any questions. It looks like Steve joined us. Steve, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great. If nobody has any questions for Tyler, I'll entertain a motion to make the appointment.
I'll make a motion to approve Tyler Richardson to full-time, what was the title? Full-time sewer technician, sorry. I'll second. Oh, good.
That's all right. We got enough. So we have a motion and a second. Because we're on fully remote, we have to do roll call votes. So Alec?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Meg?
Yeah.
Steve?
Yes.
And I too am a yes. So congratulations to Tyler, and thanks for coming tonight.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks. Next up, Mike, is an appointment to the EDC, I think.
Yep, you have a letter of interest from Matthew Hawkins seeking to be appointed to the Economic Development Commission. And the commission was contacted and are in support of this appointment.
And yeah, I think this would be very exciting that the board would be completely full, I think, with full members. Oh, wait. Then there's the next item on the agenda. Yeah, there's Matthew. Is he here? It doesn't look like he's here. Yeah, I know the EDC did review his request, and they are supportive of him joining the board or the commission. Sorry. So does anybody have any questions for Mike on that? All right. So I'll take a motion to approve the appointment of Matthew Harkins to the Economic Development Commission.
So moved.
second,
All right, so we have a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call vote. Alec,
Yes.
Denise,
Yes.
Meg,
yeah,
Steve,
Yes.
and I too am a yes. All right, next up on the agenda, I'll take this one, Mike.
Okay.
I am going to be resigning from the Economic Development Commission. I talked to the chair and the vice chair about resigning from the board, and they understand. I just have, it's very tough for me. I have a long commute to and from work, and a lot of things coming up over the next few months, and I just didn't feel like I'd be able to contribute as much as somebody else. So unfortunately, I am going to asking, I guess, for a resignation. So from the EDC. If the board wanted to continue to, have me act as sort of the liaison between the boards, that's, I'd totally be willing to do that. Or if, anybody else is interested in joining the EDC, obviously you could do that as well. So we don't have to decide that now. I just wanted to throw that out there. So, all right.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you, Kev.
And thanks for your service on the board. I'm sure it was well valued.
Yeah, it's a bummer, but I just want to spend more time with you guys.
We are a good group.
That's what it is.
way more fun, way more
Yeah,
fun.
way more fun. Yeah, the EDC no, we won't even go there. Okay. All right, and then the next two items are sort of related. Mike, do you want to just give us a quick background on this?
So you have, for the next two items, you have a request for a resignation from Corey Marsden as a constable in town because he would like to be appointed to the Board of Health. And as a Board of Health member, he can't hold another position in the town. So to be appointed to the Board of Health, he would have to resign his position as a constable. And the position on the Board of Health, unfortunately, due to an illness, has become a vacant position for a while now. And so this would be good to have a full board back, an active board. And the position that's available is under the Engineering, Environmental, or Solid Waste Water Management.
Okay. All right. Does anybody have any questions for Corey, or I think Chris Donner is here as well? Does anybody have any questions for either of those guys?
Well, Corey, I kind of know a little bit about your background, but could you tell us a little bit about how your background fits with this role, Board of Health?
Corey, you're muted.
Still muted.
You try hitting your space bar. No. Is Charlene on? Can she unmute him?
There we go. How about that?
There you are.
Sorry about that. Yeah, no, I'm sure most of you know my dad's owned a septic company in town for the last 15 plus years or so. I've worked side by side for him since I was 12 years old. That's all I've really done. That's all I really know. I've worked with Christian for years since I've been doing it. Have a lot of knowledge in the business, and
Yeah, that's what I do. That's how I make a living. So that's looking forward to it.
Okay, and Chris, do you have anything you wanted to add? I just want to give you the opportunity to say anything if you'd like.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we'd be excited to have Corey on the Board of Health. He's got that many years' experience with wastewater. Wastewater is a tough industry to get somebody with because not too many people are fighting him for his job. That's for sure. But it's very important in this office, as you all know. So it'd be good to have somebody on board that has that knowledge and experience. He's also very willing, as you can see, being a constable, that he's very willing to do what's right and help with the community, which is a great asset for the board as well. So we'd be excited to have Corey on the board.
That's great. Thanks, Chris. If nobody else has any questions, Mike, do we have to vote on the resignation?
I would vote to accept the resignation and also vote on the appointment.
Okay, so first things first, I'll take a motion on to approve the resignation of Corey Marsden as a constable for the town of Norton.
So moved.
I move. Second.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. We'll go around the board for a roll call vote. Denise,
Yes.
Alec,
Do I have to abstain?
I would say probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Meg,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
and I am a yes. And then I'll also, so the resignation is approved, and then we will also take a motion to approve the appointment of Corey Marsden to the Board of Health.
So moved.
A second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Do a roll call vote. Alec,
Present?
that'll work. Denise,
Yes.
Meg,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. All right, congratulations, Corey. Thank you for your service on both as a constable and in your new position here. So thank you.
Thank you guys very much for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, and thanks for coming, Chris.
Thank you, guys.
All right, next up, we have some minutes to approve. I think everybody got copies of the minutes, so I'll go ahead and entertain a motion to approve the minutes, including but not limited to January 4th, 2024, the January 24th, 2024 executive session, January 12th, 2024, January 18th, 2024, and the January 18th, 2024 executive session.
So moved. Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call vote. Alec,
Yes.
Denise,
Yes.
Meg,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
and I also am a yes. All right. And next up is licenses and renewals. I think we have one in here. Is that right, Mike?
I don't think so. Nope, I don't think you have any.
Oh, I thought I saw one in here.
There is one.
Yeah, one for Northeast Autos, Inc.
Yes.
Thanks, Jen.
I am missed that.
Alec, do you see that one in the packet?
I do, I have it.
All right.
So, I make a motion to approve a Class 2 license for Any Autos, Inc., 350 Old Colony Road, subject to receipt of $25,000 bond.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this?
Remind me where this is. You said Old Colonial Road?
Yeah, it's 350 Old Colony Road, so it's right next to the I think it's right next to the car wash. Is that right, Mike?
At 350 is, I'll show you.
Because I know that's right where, I know that's pretty close, I think, to where,
Lucky Green is?
Lucky Green, yeah, thank you, Lucky Green Ladies is gonna be, because I think they're 380 Old Town.
Two Suns is across the street, and that was 407.
Yeah,
So right around that area, but on the other side, yeah.
But this isn't a new one, this is just a renewal?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It was like,
yeah,
there's already
it's just a
four.
renewal.
Yeah,
All right. I just can't picture, how close are they to Two Sons?
So they're actually, as you come around the bend on West Main, they
It's
are,
across the street. It's across the street from Two Suns, but not
yeah,
not
It's like a
directly
little-
across.
it's a little bit down from Two Sons.
Got it.
And on the other,
Okay. I'm showing my screen, then it dawned on me she can't see my screen.
Yeah. I'm not gonna look at that. I'm driving on the Jersey Turnpike.
So it's up near Chartley, closer up near Chartley Pond. 350, you said,
Got it.
right?
Okay, I know where it is. Okay, I just was making sure
Yeah.
I knew what it was. All right.
it's like next to like Rainbow Kids in that part
Yeah.
area, around there.
Yeah.
There used to be like a boat repair shop in there too. Around that area.
Okay, all right, so we can, Alec has made the motion and we have a second, so, we'll take a roll call vote. Alec,
Yes.
Denise,
yes.
Meg,
Yeah,
Steve,
Yes.
and I also am a yes. All right. Okay, next up, I think is, an item for you, Mr. Town Manager.
Okay, this is just to let people be aware that under the regulations from the Cannabis Control Commission, a public Zoom meeting is going to be held on February 7th at 7 p.m. And this is for bridge transport and logistics. They're going to be an adult use medical use marijuana transportation business and on South Washington Street. And you can go to the town website to find a link to the Zoom and the meeting. I don't want to read the entire link, it would take forever, but if you go to the town website, you can get the link, and it'll be a public time for people that have questions about the business can ask them. It's February 7th at 7 p.m.
And Mike, this is the Queensbridge
Correct.
group, right?
Yep.
And we're still working on an HCA with them, is that right?
They're having two. They're having the bridge transport and logistics will be at 7, and then the Queensbridge adult medical use marijuana cultivation will be at 8 p.m.
Okay. And this location, even though it's 0 South Washington Street, this is down towards the Taunton end of Washington Street, is that right?
Yeah, you want me to put the map up?
Yeah, actually, that'd be great.
Give me a second.
I just like to challenge your technical capabilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is this parcel right here, right across from Lopes Drive. This would be Hill Street down here.
Okay, and it's just for that one parcel.
Correct.
Is that the parcel that's being cleared right now, Mike?
I know they've been to the planning board, so I don't know. I haven't been down there lately.
I have, so, and I know very much about it. So this is all news to me too. So
So John, this isn't the space that, that we're both are talking about that's being cleared right now, correct?
no, it is the area that's being cleared, but the applicant should be aware of if they're going to change their use to the project, they have to come in front of the planning board and also the Conservation Commission.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, just wanted to bring that to light because that's what I thought.
That is the cultivation facility.
And just a reminder, they asked for an extension, right, on the HCA, which we granted a
Right.
few weeks ago.
Yep.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions for Mike? All right. Moving along. Actually, does anybody else have any other announcements they wanted to make? We giving Alec the night off?
I think that on the agenda that there are 3 things, but it's on the select board report in there.
Yeah, we're gonna get to all the feel good stuff at the end.
Yeah.
Want to leave it on a good note. So, all right.
Right on.
All right. So we'll move on to new business then. First up is a discussion or vote on a license agreement between the town of Norton, Verizon, and National Grid. So, Mike, can you give us some background on this one?
Yeah, so this is National Verizon is putting a pole on the property on Mansfield Ave at the new senior center. And so this is a license agreement with them, which will allow them to put that pole there. And it has to be approved by the select board and signed by the select board.
Was this expedited due to Mr. Slattery's comments last meeting?
It may have been, this is Verizon, though that was National Grid, but maybe.
I believe this is part of it, Mike.
Yep.
Excellent.
And do we have a quick, I think there were some emails, but do we have an update on the transformer and everything else and all the issues we were having on the senior center from National Grid?
Yeah, National Grid, I emailed them again today because they sent something over today. And I told them their petition's calling for a certain poll number and their plan has a different poll number. So I told them they've got to figure out which it is. I think their petition is wrong. So they have to adjust their petition so we can get it on for the next meeting.
And there was an email indicating that there was progress on the transformer issue. Is that right?
Well, the transformer, I don't know, you might be referring to the transformer that we received here on January 30th at the town hall project.
Okay, gotcha.
Did we see them where it was ordered for the senior center? I could be wrong. I thought I saw one that said that.
I don't remember I'd have to look that up.
Okay, all right.
All right, let's go with the man himself, Mr. Slatter. He's got his hand up. So Jim, you're on.
I don't know much more than Mike Units other than I enjoyed being at the Housing for the Elderly for a half an hour. I didn't know it was a completely remote meeting. All I know is that, again, somehow National Grid, after all this, has the wrong address, the wrong poll numbers. And as of tonight, they only have 3 more days before they get put off for 2 weeks to the next selectmen's meeting, which will make it 6 weeks since we started this merry-go-round. Everybody knows where the senior center is. I fully understand the process of public hearings and all that, but I just want to get it done. The transformer thing, I think Mike is correct. We do have a transformer, although we have no electrical hookup from the pole that's in back of the town hall that was put in 5 months ago. But the transformer is on a pad at the building. The electrician is aware of it. I don't know the exact day that he's wiring it or anything else, or if National Grid has to run wires from wherever to wherever, but that's, I think, that the other transformer and the back and forth that we've had for 200 different emails supposedly is in stock, and as soon as somebody figures out where the senior center is and where to put the poles, they will supposedly deliver the transformer, but I don't see the poles, I don't see the transformer, and there is no electricity yet in the senior center.
Okay, thanks, Jim. So Mike, I presume that in approving this license agreement, we're helping move things along at least?
Correct. Yep.
All right, does anybody else from the board have any questions or comments? All right, then I'll entertain a motion to vote to approve the license agreement between the town of Norton, Verizon New England Incorporated, and Massachusetts Electric Company, DBA National Grid, regarding the property located at 116-120 Mansfield Avenue, Norton, Massachusetts.
So moved.
A second.
Okay, roll call vote. Alec?
Yes.
Denise?
Yes.
Meg?
Yeah.
Steve?
Yes.
And I'm a yes also.
And I'll send that to you via HelloSign for signatures.
Okay, great. We'll get it signed as soon as we can. All right. Item number 2, I was informed today that there was there's still some negotiating going on one particular issue with the HCAs between Lucky Green, this is PM Norton, which is part of Lucky Green Ladies, and the town. So nothing to approve as of yet. We're hoping, though, I think, Mike, it's fair to say, hoping to have this done in a couple weeks.
Yes. Yeah, their attorney just got it after that last meeting, so.
Okay. All right. Item number 3, discussion on request for sound barrier along I-495.
Okay, so this request comes from residents up on North Washington Street, dealing with them for at least 3 or 4 years now. And I know that the highway was there and the airport was there when they bought their houses, but recently the airport did a clearing for the runway and cut down a lot of trees. And the neighbors up there say the noise has become unbearable. And I know that the airport commission did plant some shrubbery up there to try and help out. But they really want us to send a letter to the state reps and state senator, who I talked to the senator and Representative Barros this week about it, let them know that a letter would possibly be coming for them to investigate with Mass Highway if they could put up a sound barrier along 495 in that area. And I would just want to see if the board would be willing to sign a letter to the state reps and state senator, asking them for their help in working on that.
Anybody have any questions for Mike on that?
Nope. Not far from that same area. I know exactly where it is.
All right, great, thanks.
Yep. All right, thanks, Mike. Next up, we have discussion and or vote on the conservation restriction regarding reservoir estates. Mike, it's a busy night for you. I'm going to turn it back to you for a little bit on this.
All right, and I'm going to turn it over to John Thomas, and John can speak on it and introduce Ned Cochran, who also speak on it.
Yeah, just to give the select board an intro, as part of the Reservoir Estates project, which was recently approved by the planning board, one of the requests from the planning board was to put a conservation restriction on the parcel, which will be held by the Conservation Commission, and Ned can kind of go into the details a little bit more on that.
John, can you just say where the project is?
Oh, it's at 0 Reservoir Street because it doesn't have an address, but to kind of give everybody kind of a, I guess, general references where the split from, I guess, 140 and Reservoir Street is. If you go up probably about 1,000 feet, it's on your left-hand side. It's halfway between where Elm Street and Reservoir, that split with 140 is. It's kind of sandwiched in the middle, so it's right next to the reservoir.
And members of the board, my name is Ned Corcoran. I'm an attorney in Milton, Mass. I'm representing the owners of the property. I've been representing them now for a while on their application for subdivision approval, which, as John said, was granted by the planning board in November. A condition of that was to place a conservation restriction on the property. If it's helpful, I can share a screen and I can show you an overview of the property and what the purposes of the conservation restriction are.
That would be great. Thanks, Ned.
So, you all see that?
Yep.
Yes.
I'm going to probably move between a couple of slides. Okay. This is the property. The Norton Reservoir is to the north of the layout. The property that's subject to the subdivision is, oops. Is this property. It fronts on Reservoir Street to the south. Mansfield Avenue is here. The owners actually own all of this property and this property. They're in two separate zones from a zoning perspective. And to the north is the Norton Reservoir. This project locus is approximately 28 acres. The zoning in that area is R60, so 60,000 square foot house lots, which are large house lots. It's a substantially wooded property. There's access. There's as I say, it fronts on the reservoir to the north. There's a wetland on the westerly corner here, and a wetland on this side that extends into abutting properties over here. So these are, as I say, large lots, 60,000 plus square feet. They are really lots that are too large to sort of manage if you're building a house and maintaining a property. And one of the things that we thought with the developers and the planning board was that if we could create contiguous areas that would be subject to open space preservation, then we could carve out smaller building lots, 20,000 square feet, in a couple of cases, 30,000 square feet, which would be in a reasonable size yard and building area. And then the balance, 3 sort of contiguous areas that would be subject to open space preservation under the conservation restriction. They would also be benefited by continuing to provide habitat for species. There are 2 other components to it. I'm going to just switch to another. If I can do this with my mouse properly. Yeah. So, I apologize for the technical difficulties on my end, but all right. I think this is the best way to show it. There are 2 other significant components. This portion of lot 4 in the rear that abuts the reservoir is really a place of interest for public access. So we carved out the building areas here, but are providing for 4 parking spaces available to the public right in this location, with a walking path that would come in to an overlook that would be preserved and maintained by the homeowners association in conjunction with oversight by the conservation commission and the conservation agent. There's a separate access to that, and that is that coming off the sidewalk just just to the northwest of this wetland is a proposed walking path that will meander all the way through the back sides of these properties and provide public access to residents of Norton. So there's a sort of a looped opportunity for folks to either walk in and walk out, or to drive in, park, and enjoy the overlook. So there are 3 components, as I say, to the CR. One is the specific designation of these 3 contiguous areas to conservation restriction, plus the maintenance of the overlook with an easement requiring that maintenance, and the footpath that provides the public access to and from Reservoir Street. There are some processes that remain. We owe, I think, with respect to this, a more detailed sort of meets and bounds description of each of the 3 conservation restriction areas. We need to button up this plan to do that as well. We'll have to develop signage and other markings to make sure that the areas that are carved for conservation restriction are recognized as such. We are currently before the Conservation Commission for approval of this loop roadway in. We're working with the Water and Sewer Commission on approval of a sewer to extend from this location here down Reservoir Street to connect to town sewer. There is no requirement that folks who live on Reservoir Street would have to tie into that sewer, although they could if they wanted to, but we will provide a sewer force main service for the property itself. We need to go before coordinate with the Executive Office of Energy and Environmental Affairs to approve the language of the CR. The CR itself, as it's drafted, is substantially the same as a couple of other CRs that have been approved and accepted by the town. John was great to give me copies of those. And we do need to go back to the planning board for a special permit associated with affordability. There is a provision in the town's bylaw that says that if there are more than 5 building lots or units, there must be an affordable, and you round up to the next nearest number. In this case, 14 units would require, 14 lots would require 2 units of affordability, or in the alternative, a payment into the town's affordable housing trust. So let me pause there, see if there are any questions about what is being suggested. I appreciate the opportunity to be here tonight and look forward to working with the town as we continue to move this project forward. And I can stop my share if that's appropriate.
All right, thanks, Ned. Does anybody on the board have any questions for for Ned or for John Thomas.
Mr. Chair, I do.
Go ahead, Art.
For both. So this subdivision was approved under cluster subdivision rules and regulations?
No, it's a straight subdivision.
It is, okay. And John, I guess with recent topics that we've dealt with over there several weeks back, I'm presuming you took that into account looking at everything with this?
Yeah, it's still under, you mean with regards to stormwater and stuff? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're revising their design and everything to make sure that it adequately meets all the stormwater standards and our local bylaw too. So they are working on it, and obviously the peer reviewer will make sure that that's the case before this project comes to close with the commission.
And we are waiting for the peer review to be made available to us so that we
Right.
can respond.
We're waiting for it too, so.
We heard John had comments, and significant, important comments, and members of the commission did as well. So we look forward to reviewing that. We're currently scheduled to be back with the commission. I think it's February 26th.
That's correct.
And so.
So this is kind of just a preliminary phase, just so that way everybody understands the process that needs to go in front of the EOEA. They're going to basically provide comments back. This is basically just to discuss and evaluate, make sure that the town's comfortable with kind of the layout and kind of the sequencing that we're going to have with this CR. It's definitely a need in accordance with our open space plan that we currently have. It's water access. So that definitely touches upon goal number 7 of our open space plan. So just to kind of give the board select board some backstory.
And John, collectively, the square footage of the conservation space aligns with what we originally had expected or anticipated?
Typically, the planning board requires at least 33% of the overall property to be designated as open space with their kind of open space preservation laws. Obviously, I'm not in line with that kind of decision-making process because I'm not on the planning board, but I presume they made the right call on this one.
The total acreage for the development is 28, and the approximate acreage for the conservation area is actually 15.5 acres, so it's more than 50% of the area being dedicated to conservation.
Great, thank you.
And one thing, as you see on the plan, is everybody thought it important that the CR areas be contiguous so that there was a real value to them. So we provided the buildable areas in sort of not remote, but we did our best to combine the area that would be dedicated to open space.
Great. Does anybody else have any questions? John, I have a question actually, just really quick. The language on the CR that we have, is that just generally standard wording that the town uses?
Right. So there are templates that are out there that the state provides. That is the most recent template that Ned has provided. There were some minor suggestions that I provided to Ned and his team to take a look at and take into consideration before they finalize it. But, understandably, once it comes back from EOEA, we get to review it and make sure that we're comfortable with it. And if the town wants to make adjustments or whatnot, we can do so as well before we sign the document.
Right, that sounds good. All right, if there's no other questions or concerns, we will look forward to seeing the final product.
Great, appreciate your time and look forward to continuing to work with John and other members of the town's team on this project. Thank you.
All right, thanks for coming, Ned. Appreciate it. Thanks, John.
Yep, see you later.
All right, next up, discussion on capital expenditure requests. Mr. Units, you're muted.
I think this was requested by Jim Slattery.
Oh, I thought I didn't know we had a capital expenditures committee. I thought we had a capital improvement committee. But yes, I wanted to discuss some things that had passed over my emails and whatever in the last 4 months.
Okay,
You want me to continue?
go ahead, let's hear it.
Oh, really? Um, being chairman of the building committee, it seems that I had at least 6 different inquiries about capital improvement projects in the town, thinking that I was the starting point for all this. And actually, when the person approached me for the first one, I started digging in it, and first I got accused of being a cricket because I didn't get back to that particular person right away, and that name seems to have stuck with me, but I guess I'm a loud, annoying cricket. The first thing was, there's been some talk in one of the meetings, there was talk of remodeling the old town hall and or the fire station. The second thing that was brought up was an east side fire station because of the increase in population on the east side of town and the lack of any protection over there. We have a Chartley station on the west side, which is the original headquarters, but there's nothing with all the industrial parks and everything else going in on the east side. There's nothing over there. Then my cricket project, which was the highway garage, the person had suggested a replacement of it. I took the bull by the horns and went to talk to the new highway superintendent, and he didn't have a clue what I was talking about. I didn't want to bother him because I know he was still, even though he's been a long-time employee, he hasn't been a long-time superintendent, and I thought I should let him get his feet wet before he starts thinking about a new building. And the more we talked about it, the more he was talking about maybe remodeling, but that's for another day. The next thing was at 140 West Main Street, the housing for the elderly. They're thinking of putting in more units. Then the next thing, in talking about the paving of the library parking lot, there was discussion by somebody with me somewhere in a secret location never to be divulged, about a second floor on the library. Then there's been some talk, even amongst my committee, about once the 2 projects are completed, if we ever get the telephone poles, that they'll be wanting solar panels put up over the parking lots, and that may be another project for what I have as the Capital Improvements Committee. I just wanted to go on record as passing this information on to the select board, and also so that the Capital Improvements Committee, which I see Mr. Rich is on the list that I have, is aware of what's going around in the rumor mill, or what I'm getting people to talk to me about and beat me over the head about, that I keep telling them, no, when you go to the Capital Improvement Committee, when they decide to take up your project and do research, we will get involved in the buildings of such. So that's all I really wanted to take up your time with, and I appreciate your indulgence.
Thank you, Jim. We appreciate it. just while I have you here, and for Mike Eunice as well, what are currently the plans for the old senior center or that site?
As far as I know, the old senior center gets turned over to the town as surplus property. And it's up to you, the board, the select board, to decide which one of the 100 little agencies in town would like that board, that dilapidated little building, or whether you knock it down and use it for something else. But as far as I know, there's nothing in the building committee's project to do anything with that building other than to move furniture out of it and get Beth into a warm and happy place. And after that, it's just surplus property for you. Or for the town, I should say. Not for you, Kevin. You may want to put up a gas station or something. I don't know. Ice cream stand. But
I would be all for an ice cream stand.
Whatever. I am done.
All right, thanks, Jim. Mike, had you have any comments on any of those projects / capital improvement issues that are coming up?
Sure. I know that Mr. Slarty had come to me after the highway discussion. We had a discussion about, and I talked to Jared and said, if you want any renovations done on the highway garage, you come to me and we'll look at it and see how it fits into our plan for expenditures. Right now, our next major expenditure would be a new roof over the fire station and the whole brick portion of this building. The library's been talking about a second floor since I started here 13 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, I don't see that ever happening. That would be an astronomical expense. They have to put an elevator in, and the East Side Fire Station has been talked about for 13 years. And what else? Oh, well, the senior center, we'll have to have a discussion on that. We can't sell the building because it's on a piece of property that has the senior center, it has the school garage, it has the salt shed. There are some nonprofits that have asked for to be able to use the building until we decide what we want to do with it. They would just be there at will. So we'll have to talk about that. And long run, at some point, maybe you would see about building a new public works garage there and put a bay in it for the school department and tear down the senior center, the old school garage behind it, and the old building that's right behind that. So long range, but right now we've got to look at, getting the roof done over the existing building here and try and do minimal renovations so the fire department can move over into, as far as the brick portion of this building, they desperately need some more living space, especially as they hire more females firefighters. They definitely need more living space. And so we're working to try and get an estimate from an architect and move forward from there. And once we develop a major project, then we would go to the building committee.
All right, Mike, thank you. Appreciate that. Does anybody have any other questions for Mike on that topic?
Kevin, maybe another, if we have ARPA funds left over, is that fire department roof and maybe that remodeling, can we utilize any of those funds?
I don't think we have enough for that left over. So we'd be looking, right now, we had hired a consultant that's worked with us to develop the spec and an estimated cost. And I think we're looking at around $300,000 for that roof, so we'd probably be looking at going out to borrow on that.
Why would it be that much, Mike? That seems 3 times the cost of what it should be.
Just what, the equipment that has to come off the roof, that roof up there has got to be removed and replaced. I'm not an expert on what it would cost for roofs, but we did have, them develop the scope.
Are those existing rooftop units on, they're gonna be on sleepers right now? Some sort of structure, numbers.
Yeah.
I would think.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Kev.
Yep. Anybody else? All right. All right. Thanks again, Mike. Thanks again to Jim. I don't know if he's still here, but thanks, Jim. Don't think we have any topics not reasonably anticipated 48 hours in advance. So moving on to old business, does anybody have any town meeting articles that they would like to put forth or discuss? Sounds like a no. I believe Denise is still working on the code of conduct draft.
Yeah, I didn't even touch it when I knew that everyone was traveling today.
So that's fine. We will we'll table that to the next meeting. Mike, budget update.
Yeah, I just wanted to go over. We have received the first round cherry sheet, and just to give you an idea of where we're at, the first page is the estimated assessment and charges. And one of the major improvements on that was that the charter school sending tuition dropped from $1,291,159 to $1,055,151. So on the charges, we actually have $204,329 less this year than last year. So hopefully that stays like that. And then on the revenue side, I just highlighted those two, the school choice receiving tuition in public libraries, because that money is not available for appropriation. That's a pass-through. The school choice receiving tuition goes right to the schools, and the public libraries, the $46,144, which is a slight decrease. That'll go directly to the library. The school choice receiving tuition's up about 16,000. That goes directly to the schools. So on this side, we have a plus of about $22,171. So overall, the net with a decrease in the charges and a slight increase in the revenue is $226,500 difference from last year. And hopefully some of that revenue can increase. Our chapter 70 went up $65,190, and our unrestricted government aid went up $74,539. So not major increases.
Mike, do we typically see a lot of change between this, at this stage, between sort of the final, the final distribution?
We typically don't. It's very close usually.
Okay.
So unless there's any surprises, it'll probably be pretty close to that.
All right, anybody else have any questions for Mike? On the cherry sheets?
Mike, on the chart tuition reimbursement, it dropped
Yep.
$100,000. I don't remember that just in the part of discussion last week. Is
It's
that?
all-
Yeah,
That we receive,
yes.
the charter reimbursement, right, it dropped $102,896. That's on the cherry sheet,
That's because the state is reimbursing us at a lower level because we haven't changed the number of kids.
right, the number of kids must have dropped.
That's a lot.
In
That's-
charter schools.
I don't think it dropped that much though. So the calculation must change.
Okay.
So that's the 189,000 down to 86,000.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
Just what I had given you, the Municipal Empowerment Act. So that's what the governor's filed. We don't know what will be approved on that. Just some of the things on there that to point out. One is to make permanent the COVID era flexibilities on meetings. So it would allow hybrid meetings to continue forever. Another one is under 30B. Right now, the threshold before you have to go out and do a procurement process is $50,000. Recently, it was raised to $100,000 for schools. I don't know why they just did the schools and just didn't do it for everyone. And now they're looking to correct that and make that limit $100,000 before you have to do a full procurement process. And thank God it would, if this goes through, it would eliminate the requirement to publish in combis, which is a pain. So I'm sure they got a earful when they went to all the communities and asked people what they wanted. They must have heard this everywhere. Another thing is the collection of water charges right now. I know if you remember last year, we signed a intermunicipal agreement with Mansfield because we have some people that we supply water to, and there's some people in Norton that they supply water to. And the way it is right now, we don't have the ability to lien or serve demands on someone in Mansfield that we're supplying water to that's not paying. That's why we have to do that agreement with Mansfield where they agreed that they'd do it and we'll do it for them here. Well, this will now allow a town to issue demands and also to put liens on properties in other towns where they're supplying the water. Another thing in there is that the outdoor dining would be a permanent thing. It would be up to the local communities to decide whether they wanted to allow outdoor dining and alcohol service, and that would be permanent. And some of the revenue ideas that the governor put in here, I don't know how they're going to do this, whether it would require a vote of the town or what's going to happen, but one would be to allow local communities to put a 5% surcharge on the excise tax. Another one would allow communities to increase the hotel motel room tax from 6% to 7%. And a third one would allow local communities the option of increasing the mails tax from 0.75% to 1%. And then the dreaded double pole enforcement is in there. So, and that was on the news tonight. They were talking about the amount of double poles in Massachusetts right now is astronomical. And this would allow you to fine the utilities $1,000 per occurrence for double poles. We'll see if that survives through the whole process. But these are just some things that, and I gave you the whole list that the governor has put out there. And another thing I just saw the governor did, I'd like to commend her for it, is saying that they're doing away with the requirement for most municipal jobs in the state that to require a college degree. And, there's a lot of jobs where people can learn by experience and not have to have a college degree. And so that's the new focus, to try and open things up to more people. So I congratulate her on that.
All right.
All right.
Yeah.
And I'll keep you informed as this moves along and what the state reps and state senators see as being moving forward.
Okay.
Just an update on Reed and Barton. I gave you some information. The Water and Sewer Department and their engineer and I met with the state last week and went over progress on where the project is in the design. So it's still in the design phase for the water and sewer down Elm Street. And then the other aspect of that is obviously that project is heavily dependent on the development of the Elm Street site. And last week, the developer said that she was meeting with the state. She had a huge meeting with the state and was going to let me know how that went. So I haven't heard back from her. I emailed her again today to find out how she made out with the state. So hopefully she was successful there and is moving forward. If not, we'll have to reach out to the state, the new division they have for housing, because if this project isn't going to move forward with the current developer, we're going to have to find someone else to move the project forward.
Okay.
All right.
Any well, I guess throw this out to the board. Is there any advantage to having the owner or the developer come back in and give us an update herself?
I'll ask her that. Sure.
Okay, that'd be great.
Just the last thing there, the Water and Sewer Commission appointment bylaw. I just wanted to remind you that the recent approval of the town was that the select board would make appointments to the Water and Sewer Commission as positions became vacant. And in April, the position of James Jordan will be up for appointment. And he has submitted a letter indicating that he would like to be appointed to the position. So
Okay.
We'll put on a future agenda.
Okay.
And if anyone else is interested, they can send in a letter of interest indicating that they'd like to be appointed to the Water and Sewer Commission.
How many spots do we have open on that right now?
Just one, just his.
Okay. All right, great. Anybody have anything to add before we move on to the select board's report and mail? All right. This is the feel-good portion of the evening. We have some really nice announcements and recognitions going on here. So who's taking this?
I'm more than happy to.
All right, Alec, go ahead.
Okay, so the first one is a letter that the Norton Police Department received, addressed to Chief Brian Clark from the North Cottage program. On behalf of the North Cottage program, I would like to thank you, your officers, and your social workers for helping with the situation we had last week with our former Graduate House resident. The resident was extremely difficult to deal with, and your team were very understanding. They were willing to listen to us and showed empathy toward us, but most importantly, they offered us support and guidance on how to handle the situation. It was the information that was given to us that ultimately helped us to have the resident leave our property and not return. Your team was also kind to our resident and tried to help him make the right decision. They treated him with respect, even though they were not being treated with respect. We were all very impressed by this. We look forward to our continued partnership with the Norton Police Department in helping people struggle with addiction and keeping our community safe. Best regards, Gene Burgess, Executive Director of the North Cottage Program. So I thought that was
That's right.
wonderful. And then one of Norton Police's sergeant, Jacob Dennett, he was recognized and honored by the Bruins and Massachusetts State Lottery as a community all-star. He's an 18-year veteran of NPD and a resource officer at Norton High School. So I thought that was pretty wonderful news for Jacob.
Yep, and he got a mention on the Bruins Facebook page, and
He was
pretty cool.
he was recognized at a game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you figured we'd get invited, you know, we'd get tickets.
Yeah, yeah. Mike, you gotta work on that the next time.
Yeah, but
And then another commendation from Norton Fire Department to our own NEMA Deputy Director Ray Cord. He received the first annual humanitarian award from the Norton Fire Department. It mentions this award could not go to a more deserving person. We thank Ray for all he does for our community and all the emergency situations and his whole team. He runs that whole show, and it's very impressive how he keeps it all organized. So congratulations, Mr. Cord, and thank you very much.
I just wanted to emphasize that award was from the Norton Media Center.
It was?
Yes.
It says from the Norton Fire Department would like to congratulate. Okay.
and again, to all the NEMA people, all the volunteers, and you know, especially now as we start to see more and more weather events and things happening around town, it's amazing that those people do all that and volunteer to do it. So thank you to all of them. All right, anybody have any other mail or announcements from the select board? And if not, I don't think we have anything else other than Steve approving the warrants if he's there.
Oh, yeah, I approve the warrant as written.
All right, very good. All right, next meeting will be February 15th. I do want to thank all of you, all the members of the board for getting this done tonight. I think I had mentioned as we were scheduling that, you know, we want to try to keep on our regular schedule as much as possible, and then we have school vacation week coming up, so putting this meeting off would have kind of put us on a kind of an odd time frame. So anyway, so I know like everybody had to call in and you know, participate remotely, so just wanted to thank everybody for doing that so we could get the town's business done tonight. My dog agrees.
Thank you,
So,
everybody.
all right, so next meeting will be February 15th, and I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. All right, motion and a second. Alec,
Yes.
Denise,
Yes.
Meg,
Yes.
and Steve.
Yes.
All right. All right, Mike, are we all set?
All set.
All right, meeting is adjourned. All right. Oh, I'm a yes, and meeting is adjourned. All right, thank you.
See you guys.